years you weren't regularly playing. What kept your azimuth focused? What had you on the path for 7 years?
I mean, being in the NFL, it's a day-to-day thing, man. You got to be on it every single day. A lot of people wish they're in this position, and I'm grateful to have worked myself into this position. Also, knowing who I am, I'm very set in who I am. I know exactly who I am and what I can do, and so I've never bought into the narratives that have been out there. I didn't just get this good over the course of one off season. So I think that's mostly a narrative, and a lot of this stuff is media driven. But when it comes down to me, people where I'm from know who I am. West Virginia, I just got inducted into the College Hall of Fame. So people in college football know who I am. New York Jets as well, Giants, Chargers, and Seattle. So people have continued to let me know that you just keep working hard, and things will happen for you. And so that's what I did.
Hey, I'm with you, Geno. I support you 100%, but you lose me when you try to blame the media. What's media-driven? He's been around. No one has decided to make him a starter until this year. At some point, it's not media-driven. These teams are making the decisions. Now, maybe they're making bad decisions. He made the comment after beating the Giants that Jerry Reese and Ben McAdoo believed in him. Maybe others in the organization didn't, and he never got a fair shot there. But it's not media-driven. It's reality, and I admire him. I applaud him for being perseverant, for not giving up. We see so many of these guys who enter the NFL as quarterbacks with hype, and if it doesn't work out with that first team, they're just gone. He has hung around, he has pushed, he has fought, he has improved, and now here he is as the starter. It's not media-driven, Peter. It's not media-driven, it's reality. And the reality is he's turned it around, he's playing well, and I applaud him for that.
Mike, the two things about the Seahawks that really stand out to me right now, at midseason. Number one, with Geno Smith, he said something to me a couple of weeks ago. I led my column with, Geno Smith, to me, even including the Giants and Jets, the most incredible individual story of this year, single story. And he said that, listen, if you judged Peyton Manning on his rookie year, if you judged Troy Aikman or Steve Young on their rookie years, what would have happened long term? And he said, it's like judging me in my rookie year where, I wasn't great, but I wasn't awful. And he's not saying I'm Troy Aikman or I'm Peyton Manning. He's just saying the quarterback position going from college football to pro football is an incredible leap. And that's why I think now, and again, we talked earlier in the show, Mike, about Zach Wilson and about, boy, he better look over his shoulder and all that. I mean that for now, for today. But I don't think anybody should be giving up on quarterbacks a year and a half into their careers. And that is what is crazy about how quarterbacks are analyzed over time right now. If they don't get it done within 2 years, throw the bum out. Geno Smith is a great example of exactly why you need to be patient with quarterbacks. That's one thing. The second thing is, we talked about Howie Roseman earlier, all right? And, as general manager. But I think also we need to talk about John Schneider of the Seattle Seahawks. If you look at this depth chart right now, their starting left and right tackles are rookies, Charles Cross, Abraham Lucas, their first and third round draft picks. You look at their defensive secondary, and you got Tariq Woolen, a 5th round pick. Kobe Bryant, the 4th round pick, is their starting nickel. And then obviously the running back, who just might be, he's going to be in contention, for offensive rookie of the year. Kenneth Walker was their 2nd round pick. And what has happened is that the Seattle Seahawks have trusted their coaching staff and their scouting staff. And that's why they're sitting there in first place right now in a division that we all thought they'd be sitting there in last place at the midpoint of the season.
4th straight win if they beat the Cardinals. They beat them earlier this year, 19-9 in Seattle. Smith has been playing well. Ken Walker is awesome. Offensive Rookie of the Month, Defensive Rookie of the Month from the same team for the entire league, and they could do the double dip. It's only happened 2 prior times, the Lions in 1967 and the Saints in 2017, to have both the Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year. So it's working for the Seahawks, and the great juxtaposition is the Broncos. I mean, Pete Carroll's got to be loving life right now. The fact that they moved Russell Wilson when they did, they got what they got, and it's not working for the Broncos and Russell. It is working incredibly well for the Seahawks, but there's still a long way to go. They have to keep at it, and this is an important piece of that puzzle because the Cardinals are vulnerable right now. They're at 3-5.
They are.
Look, they beat the Saints, and we think, okay, maybe they're starting to figure it out. And then they were just kind of sluggish and lackadaisical against the Vikings. They fall behind 14-3. To their credit, they kept trying. They didn't go away. They took the lead, but they weren't able to finish the deal. How much blame between Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray, how much blame do you put on either or both guy for where this team currently is?
Well, I think there's enough blame to go around, Mike, and I think that we saw that maybe there's not a fracture between the two guys, but we saw that there's a little schism between Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury when Murray comes to the sidelines and is basically yelling at his coach a couple of weeks ago. And I think what that says to me is that Kyler Murray's got to be incredibly frustrated with where they are right now as an offense, because there have been times this year that they have struggled mightily. And here it comes. The Saints, this wasn't a couple of weeks ago, it was 8 days ago. You know? And so, you know, to me, it takes some guts for, I would say, a reserved guy like Kyler Murray to do this. And then for DeAndre Hopkins to feel like he's got to step in between the two guys. You know, that was a really, really interesting moment right there. And so to me, I think that means that the communication's got to be better, and just maybe the play calls have to be better. But one of the reasons why it's going to be very difficult to me for Arizona to regain, sort of any sort of momentum to try to salvage the 6th or 7th playoff spot is because, look, the 49ers are a lot better than they were, and they're getting healthier. And obviously, Seattle is a lot better than anybody thought they were, than they would be. So how in the world, with Dallas is making the playoffs. What is the path of the Arizona Cardinals to be playing football on the weekend of January 15th? The path has to be to knock off teams like Seattle and teams that are better than we thought they'd be at the beginning of the year.
And, oh, by the way, they still have to play the 49ers twice over the balance of the season. They have the Rams again, and they have the Buccaneers Christmas night on NBC. We'll see if the Cardinals are still even alive by then as they take on Tampa Bay. But whenever I see frustrated Kyler Murray, I think back to the point you made when he entered the NFL. He's lost 3 games in his entire high school and college career combined.
Yeah.
Peter, he lost 3 games last month. Football gets harder the higher you climb. And I really think, and this is probably a topic for another day, we had kind of glossed over the whole short quarterback thing like it's not a big deal, it's not an issue. Still an issue. If you can't see over the guys in front of you, and they use the cage rush to keep you in the pocket, there isn't a whole lot you can do to use those incredible God-given skills from the standpoint of running with the ball. If they have you caught and you can't see and you really can't do anything and you're 5'10", not easy to do in the NFL. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we return, we mentioned Jeff Bezos. He has emerged as a potential buyer for the Commanders. Also, there was a report last night from Sports Business Journal that helps explain why we got the Wednesday announcement that the Snyders are willing to sell. We'll discuss that when PFT Live continues right after this. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.